welcome to Outlook web series. Our topic of discussion today is green future, environment and climate change. COVID-19 has really sensitized us to our environment, and we are becoming conscious of our health as well as the planet's health. And when we talk about the planet's health, the immediate picture that comes to our mind is clean air, natural surroundings, and a healthy environment for all living beings on the planet. And this is when conservation of natural resources and a wiser use of energy is important. So, for this, renewable energy is playing a vital role. And we have with us Mr. Ashish Khanna, who's the President Renewables with Tata Power. And Mr. Khanna is an authority in renewables. And Tata Power Solar is among the leading companies on solar power in India. So today he'll be sharing with us all the insights on solar power and the benefit of renewables for everyone. Welcome to the show, Mr. Khanna.
Thank you, Amika, for your kind words.
So, sir, today we are talking about solar power and the energy consumptions. Tata Power Solar has for decades been in this field. Would you please share what exactly the company does and how beneficial it is?
Well, yes, we are here in decades. Tata Power Solar primarily starts from a manufacturing organization. We were the first one who starts in 1991 on the manufacturing of cells and panels in this country. At that time, we were a joint venture with BP, but later on, it's our own 100% owned group company. We are the one who made cells and modules and used to utilize within the country and export it to. So the whole focus was on the quality of the products. At that particular time, the usage of solar panels in our country was not as high or as visible as it is now. The consciousness in people, the cost of technology at that particular time was different. So more often than not, this solar energy and our products were utilized by at places where you don't have grids, like offshore platforms and many places in Europe where people were becoming very conscious about the environment. And from that time onwards, in the decades, then we migrated not only keeping our leadership in the manufacturing, we migrated into the EPC, where we execute projects for others. We are a number one EPC company for the utility scale project as we speak. We are also number one rooftop player, and that too we started in this last decade, where we started this campaign and then putting rooftops on roofs of residential customer, business houses, industrial places, and now even carports. We also happen to be number one in this country from last many years in this segment. We also, in the last few years, started working on this solarized pumps business, which we believe is a great benefit to the farmers, to the community, and also to the government per se, because that particular power for that pump, agriculture power, goes free, and replacing it with a capital expenditure and using a solarized pumps where the farmer can get the water during the daytime itself. Today, as we speak, we are again number one in this country as far as the pumps are concerned. We have installed more than 32,000 pumps as we speak, and more than 10,000 in the last 1 year itself. Now, since the scheme is going on, we also have our own assets on the wind platforms. We have around more than 1,100 megawatts of the wind assets with us across the country. We also have around 2.6 gigawatt in total on the renewable assets, solar plus wind together, and around 1.8 gigawatt is something which is in the pipeline of execution. Now, these are our own assets, utility scale projects. We are also building the hybrid project. So yes, you can say that we are the pioneer in this industry, starting from manufacturing till operating plants. We cover all aspects of it and are virtual leaders in most of these aspects where the businesses, whether it is a utility scale business, whether it is an EPC business, whether the EPC business is in utility scale projects, whether it is rooftops, providing solutions on rooftops, including signing PPAs for that rooftops, whether it is solarized pumps, and including manufacturing with the current enhancement of manufacturing, which we have undertaken at our Bangalore factory, which is the one which we started in 1991. We are going to be more than 1.1 gigawatt of cell and module put together capacities, which we are going to generate out there at the maximum efficiency level. I think that is what has made us well. But if I can use 2 more minutes on this subject, I think the important thing which we feel, which is very important, especially for this industry, by nature, you have this power which is infirm. And in this industry, it is very difficult compared to the other fossil fuel and other factors on what is working and what is not working. Hence, the quality of our products and projects and services has to be impeccable for that. And I think that is where we take pride of the fact that what all we have achieved in this manner, whether it is our products, whether it is our services, whether it is our projects. And I think that has paid us well. And that is where we value our customers who has a belief in us. And from the last so many years, some of the panels which we have installed 2 decades back has been working phenomenally well, even at the current level on those offshore platform outside this country and within this country. Gives us pride on that matter.
Mr. Khanna, so what is the life of these products? And when you're installing them, do you also train the people over there on how to use these products and take care of them?
Yeah, so there are 2 aspects. So the life of the panel, if you see, which we manufacture ourselves and many times also use the other panels or imported panels too, we guarantee our products for 25 years. But this for 30 and 35 years, they can work phenomenally well. The only thing which happens is that there is a degradation which happens in this panels, which is generally in the range of 0.5 or less than 0.5 on a YOY basis. And that is where the quality matters. If your degradation is on, say, 1 to 2%, if the quality is that bad, then in the 30-year period or a 25-year period, you are virtually having a very bad panel with you, which is not going to give you the energy which you are actually anticipating. And since it is very difficult to calibrate it by the user, why the energy is not coming, you can always blame it. If it's an inferior product and the manufacturer is not keen to own that fault, they can always blame it on God's son or God wind in case of turbines. So it is very important that you calibrate, you monitor your products and their qualities. And our products we have been monitoring even those which we have installed 2 decades back. They are working perfectly well. Their degradation level is much, much lower than what we guarantee. But we guarantee for 25 years. And most of them has a life of more than 30 years when we are using. But since this industry is nascent, if you ask me, it's only in the last 1 decade we have seen a widespread usage of this. We are going to see in the next 2-3 decades how they are performing for future. But yes, we guarantee it for 25 years as well as our panels are concerned.
So in 2020, you had launched a campaign, Pledge for Solar, and you traveled across the country for that. Uh, could you tell us more about that campaign? How has it gone? What are the reactions?
I think it was not a campaign, it was an awareness program, if you ask me. We realize that as a citizen, there is a lot which the common consumer should know. The future, the children should know, and common man should know that what is in it for him or her, as well as this renewable energy, and especially rooftop solar and solar is concerned. There is still an element of doubt about what it brings, how it will bring, what can we do about it. So we have this campaign of 100 cities which we are going to take it forward. It was predominantly to educate people on what all are the potential savings they can also make. Leave aside the green part of it, which is very important for this planet. Immensely important in the way in the last 150 years, now we have calibrated this temperature rise. Now, if it's going to go beyond 2 degrees, we all know what type of holocaust is going to happen in this world. We will have a very different world at the end of this century if we are not limiting our temperatures. And most of it is coming from this CO2 emissions. And there are many other factors too, but that is a predominant factor. Most of the CO2 emissions are coming from this fossil fuel burning. I'm not saying fossil fuel is bad, but what I'm saying is that we have to maintain the limits. It is important for a normal citizen, a common man on the street and otherwise at their home to understand what exactly this solar energy can bring to them. The best part is that the technology has come where now it is even cheaper. There are saving potentials. So our campaign was also from a clean energy, which many of the people are aware of. But if you look at in our country, Clean energy is one factor. But yes, if it is coming at a very high cost, not many of us can afford it. So there is always a mental blocks on why should you invest in it and whether it is worth it or not. So our campaign was also at 100 cities to educate people about the saving potentials from this solar, especially on rooftop and others. It is green. It is for the next generation. We are going to leave a planet. Most of us will not be there at the end of this 21st century. But yes, our next generation will be there. It's a planet which we have to leave for them, which is as good as or better than where we are staying, plus a huge potential of saving which we have to do. I think in this campaign too, we also bring along an aspect of simplicity of this usage. You don't need much on it. It is not a rocket science to build these projects on a roofs or otherwise and to maintain them too. But when we build a big projects at our sites, we train each and every contractor with us. We have our own TPSDI, as we call it, Tata Power Skill Development Institute. We give them certificates. We train them for executing projects. We train them for operating those projects. And these are the locals. You will appreciate a fact, and you raise a very nice point on this, that how do we train people? You see, these projects, when we look at solar projects or wind projects, they are coming into hinterland. They are not in metros. Most of them are not in metros. Metros are predominantly your carports and your rooftops. When these projects are coming in hinterland, it is important, especially for a company value driven like us, to educate the people, to train the locals and make them educated and train them for executing these projects and maintaining these projects. It's a sustainable value proposition which is coming in their areas. And most of these areas where the solar projects come across are not the best of the areas. The agriculture is not existing. They generally have a high level of radiation. It's a barren land. And people around them, there is a great amount of upliftment which can happen. And that's what we are attempting, to uplift the community out there. Train them. It's not very difficult. Make them entrepreneurs to execute this project, come as our contractors, and then train them to operate these plants too. And that's what we have been indulging into.
You also mentioned that it's a very nascent industry and technology has been evolving. Would you give us an idea about the technology and the innovations?
Oh, yes. When I say it is a nascent industry, I'm saying with respect to compared to other fossil fuel, which are, the gas-based or the coal-based power plant, and even hydro. Even Tata Power, we have a plant of hydro which is still running, which is more than a century old. So compared to that, it is a nascent industry. But if you look at it, what has happened in the last 1 decade itself, the technology has moved so fast. The efficiency level of the panel has gone phenomenally high. We generally have these improvements in the efficiency level on a CAGR of more than 8 to 10% on a year-to-year basis. Now, when I compared this with other sources of power generation, whether it is fossil fuel, it is hydro, it is gas-based, all of them, there is not much change. The frame 5 to frame 6 takes decades to come. Subcritical, supercritical, ultra-critical has also taken decades to come. Now, today we are in a system till around, say, 2 years back, one panel, in fact, 3 to 4 years back, let me put it in that manner. One panel was hardly able to produce at its peak capacity somewhere close to 230 or 250 watt peak. Now, today we have panels which are producing 530 to 580 watt peak. In a matter of last few years, the same panel, the efficiency level and the power output has increased so much phenomenal. And that is where the technology is playing an important role. The other part, as well as the innovation is concerned, I think there is an innovation with respect to how to make this technology cost effective. The thickness of the wafers are going. So the technology, if you look at it, what is the tariff comings? Now, that is an optics. On a utility scale project, we are even gone a tariff of rupees 2 or less than rupees 2. And these are fixed and firm tariff for next 25 years. You cannot get a more cheaper power. Now, where is this tariff coming lower? Is because of this technology innovations which is happening, which is making these projects even more viable at those particular tariff options and more cost effective. The innovations are happening with respect to these products are concerned, and that is a technology advancement. Now we even have panels which we can fold, put it across anywhere. They are foldable panels which are coming. Very soon you will have your backpacks which will have a panel on the top of it or some surface on the top of it. And while your laptop is in the bag, it will be charged from a solar. Even that sort of innovations have come. Your wristband for that matter, or wristwatch band, it will be solarized and your watch will be charged from it. That technologies and innovations are also coming. But leave aside that optics. More importantly is the usage of this solar, which has become so widespread. Not only from this optical part of a backpack to wristwatch, but also looking at how our farmers are now getting this solarized power and watering their fields during the daytime at a more cost-effective way than what they were used to be. Bringing clean water. Again, that innovations of a source of power which is available, which can be utilized for a clean power. Again, I am saying that when you have a cheaper source of power, India as a country is blessed with it. We have an overall potential of 749 gigawatt of solar power and around 332 gigawatts of wind power. Our current capacity is less than 300 gigawatt of power, which is what we use at any given time. That's our installed capacity. With such a huge level of potential, which we are blessed in this country, with the technology which is making it so greatly cost effective, I think it is the best place in India to increase the usage of solar and wind or other renewable powers.
You just mentioned that there is a lot of innovation in terms of the daily use also, like backpacks and all. So is Tata Power Solar looking at doing research and development on this as well? Or are you putting your process into the bigger units?
No, we are into all uses. We are doing a lot of research, and we have a Tata Group company within our group itself, which has this product, which can be utilized on that matter. So there is a lot of research which we indulging into. There is a lot of innovations also which we are indulging into. But predominantly, if you ask me in India, we are doing what we feel is the best for our country and which is required by the people of this country. Cost becomes a very important factor. Storage is becoming a very important factor where we are keenly looking at solutions. If you would have come to our office in Noida at Shatabdi Bhavan, you will realize that we have a water ATM there which runs from a solar plant. And we give free, clean RO water to the communities around us. So while there is a research and development which is happening, but more of these innovations are predominantly being utilized for the service of the community for which we ultimately work. We cannot work unless we have a business entity which is giving us profits. So while we are enhancing our capacities, enhancing our profitability, looking for a predictable returns from our investment, I think important factor of serving the community and innovations there, that how can we help our community and serve them, that is where we have a more focus on.
You also mentioned that you've been working in the international markets. So how different is it working abroad than working in India?
Well, if you ask me, it's not much, as we have done some work on a EPC and most of our products have been globally shipped. The challenge which we have seen across there is that the increment value which you can derive outside India because of your quality is much more than the increment value which you can derive in India because of your quality. And I think that is also because of the maturity level where you are in that particular industry. We are so much cost competitive in our country that for individuals to derive that or to give you a preference because of the quality of the products you are coming, they would like to give it to you. They would love to give it to you, but then they are also very focused towards the cost part of it. Abroad, there are always potential that if you are recognized of giving the right products, you are always preferred as their suppliers. And that's why most of our supplies exports on our panels are to customers who gives us repeated orders, looking at and giving credit for the quality of the product and services which we have brought to them.
Would you tell us about some unique projects that you have executed?
We did the largest utility scale project at that particular time, which was made from India's own cells and modules. And it is still performing phenomenally well for a client. We did India's largest rooftop, not India, it's the world largest rooftop on a single location at a at a single roof, at a single location. We did that at Beas in Amritsar. We did the world largest rooftop on a cricket stadium. We did India's largest carport at Chennai, and we did that cricket stadium is in Mumbai. We did the world largest there. We did very interesting projects in a state of Ladakh, and these are providing power to various houses. And the terrain in Ladakh is very different. The weather conditions are very different. We are executing a project of supplying power to the schools in J&K along with the storage system. That is a very unique project. More than 100 schools we have covered in providing them. We are providing power for the potable water for many schools in this country. That's very interesting. You have to appreciate the fact that we have also started a project of microgrid. Now we have installed more than 130 microgrids. This is helping those areas, and currently we are concentrated in UP and Bihar, and those communities to develop more and more entrepreneurs. And in the last pandemic, we have realized that how the migration of labor has taken place. So there is an opportunity for those individuals who are coming back from cities, who have seen how the business works, to have a consistent source of power and become the entrepreneurs on their own at that hinterlands and start small industries or businesses out there. These are very interesting projects where we set up the whole power plant. It's a microgrid around 25 to 30 kilowatt or 30 to 50 kilowatt. We lay our own lines and provide them. We also give power in those hinterlands, providing them a fan and a light connection with hardly 100 or 200 rupees as a monthly fee. They are very interesting projects. Developing those entrepreneurs is again a great point of view out there. So I think, and above all, developing in those hinterlands where there is hardly any contractors available, local community to come and work for us. You will be surprised to know that we even have developed certain women civil contractors who are civil contractors for us in our various projects on those hinterlands. And believe me that these places are not the best of the places, and women civil contractors coming. So I won't say that there were complexities in the project, but I would say that in a decent complexities in a project too, developing these entrepreneurs, these women entrepreneurs, women contractors, providing power to the people, and they are difficult. Working in Ladakh, now currently we are in 72 sites of our own, and making this world largest, making this India proud has been some of the features which we have done, including pumps too, where now we have a technology where the farmer can actually know what is the power coming on his mobile phones. He can check what is the power which has been generated on his things. How can he export that power to? So I think a lot of technology infusion has happened. We are on the verge of doing do-it-yourself kit for rooftop, where you yourself can install a rooftop on this on your own roofs. You don't need much of a manpower from our side. Few things which are coming at the top of my mind.
So I would like to know what has been the response from these women entrepreneurs.
Amazing.
And the civil contractors. How have the men around taken it?
I don't like to have this discussion going to a gender biases basis, but we generally have a partners meet. And where all our partners, and we call them partners. We don't call them contractors. We don't call them suppliers. We call them partners. And once in a year, we all met. It's only in the last year because of pandemic, we have not been able to meet. So they have also come, and one of them has come on stage. And if you want to know the response from all the men folk on that, including me, we gave her a standing ovation. That was the response from the men folk out there. I requested and everyone gave a standing ovation. So it's appreciated. Take my word, it is very much appreciated.
So is this the first time that the women have got involved in solar power projects, or has it happened?
No, I think there are many women entrepreneurs. I think there are many women engineers who are working on our sites too. I have my engineer who are women who are working at the solar projects. So I won't say it is the first time, but it is good to see that you have developed a contractor. A local woman has come, found an opportunity to work at a solar site, come forward, ask for our support. We supported her, and many of them in that process, trained her and her employees, and then she grew on her own. And now she is working not only in that Andhra Pradesh area, but is also moving around. And there are many who are taking this clue around. So I won't say that it is the first time the women are working on a project. Even our own engineers, diploma engineers, all of them work out there. Uh, the challenge was a local person who has no background. They are coming up, finding an opportunity and growing big. Uh, was something very heartening to see.
You just mentioned a lot about community development. Tata Power Solar also has CSR projects in place.
Oh yes,
Uh,
Tata Power, I would say, has
okay.
CSR projects. We won't call it as just a community service per se. The better part is that we all look around what is required in that community out there. So we have certain themes which run across the organization. There are certain themes on which we work. And when we reach site, we look at these themes too, like providing services to the community. That is again a transaction, if you ask me. Like in this pandemic, it was so heartening to see how the community has come and supported us. None of our plants has been shut down even for 1 hour because of this pandemic. The community has come and supported us to reach our sites, where we are operating our solar as well as wind projects. The community has come and supported us to start our industries out there, out this. So we support the local community in developing those entrepreneurs. We support the local community in giving them training to work for us out there. We support the local women out there to have more and more products coming from them, which we can use in our this project and in various other projects. We also look for educating them and training them in that particular area. We also look for water harvesting and how the potable waters can come on this. Generally, not generally, in fact, all in our sites where we are building projects, we have the RO plants. We don't let anyone drink anything else, even though they are our subcontractors. We have our own RO plants, solarized RO plants, which give them water, and to the community around too, we do that. Better part about this particular project is you are not ring fence. We, since we are an organization who build projects and then run it for next 25 years or 30 years too, we have a long term community relations out there. So the relationship and the support which we give to the community helps us not only at that stage of executing projects, but most of them then work for us in our operation stage too. The locals work for us in our operating stage too at various levels, starting from the site or the operating head to everyone down below. The local community is duly in touch. They take, I think, advantage of the fact that there is installation close to them in their community. They don't have to come to cities or move outside for their employment. That is helping them. And also, this whole aspect of growing their business, if they are entrepreneurs and moving from one side to another, also helps them to grow bigger and larger in their contribution to us. It also helps us because then we don't have to fend off to our new contractors or at various locations. So it's a win-win for us, which we work. And I think more important here is that it is not only coming from the corporate as an objective. It is each and every employee of Tata Power, which is at site, whether it is operating site or it is a project which we are making, which are involved into this. So it is not that one particular function is involved. Every engineer, every employee of Tata Power at sites are fully involved in these initiatives which Tata Power takes on the community. And that's how it helps both. We become more human and they support us in our cause for providing a clean power.
What are the future plans of the company? How does it plan to take all the renewable energy projects forward? Anything new that is happening?
Oh, yes. I think let me go segment by segment because we into various segments. I think as well as the manufacturing is concerned, we are expanding and we will be expanding more too. We are looking for the how the policy framework is coming. for manufacturing. As well as the pumps business is concerned, I think we have done in the last year more than anyone else in this country, and we are going to expect multiple X on this pumps. I think the government Kusum scheme has given the right impetus to the solarized pumps business. And now with those scheme where you can also export power, the farmer by not only can utilize it on an off-grid basis, but even on an on-grid basis, they can export power and earn. I think that particular initiative by the government is also very good for the farmer, for the electricity boards, and for us too to provide that services. So I think we will grow multiple folds in the solarized pumps business. Rooftops, the awareness is coming. We are into all hinterlands now. We are number one. And I think again, we will have a multiple X growth in rooftops too. After this digitization efforts, which we have taken in the last 1 year, and how nicely they have paid us back in this pandemic, we are very confident that the rooftops by the consumer, the residential segment will grow, the B2B segment will grow, besides the government initiatives, which are also going to come up. So we are very confident on a growth potential out there, and we are very sure of our multiple level growth in the next 5 years on rooftop segment. Utility scale segment, currently we are at around 2.6 operating and going to be 4.5 in near future. I think it has been already said that we will be more than 15 gigawatt in the next few years, as well as utility scale segments are concerned. But more importantly, I think it is the new area of hybrid RTC. Tata Power is positioned very well, since we also have wind with us, and we also have solar with us, and we are a predominantly power company. So this round the clock power which is required, which also have a component of thermal in it, I think we are very well positioned on it. And now we also foresee that more and more opportunities are going to come where we have the higher PLF. So standalone solar, standalone wind is one way to look at it, but hybrids are going to be more. RTC tenders or RTC requirement will be more. Storage is going to make a big bang, I would say, entry with this cost effectiveness. It is already there, but it is going to go lower with this advancement of EV as vehicles, and more companies are going out there. I think the energy requirements is going to increase, and we have a solutions of solarizing and providing the charging stations through a solar panels itself, or a carport which will be solarized and then can provide the charging to it. So I think we are looking forward for a great business opportunities of renewable in Tata Power, and we will be the leader. We are in many segments, we will be in all segments.
So before we wind up, sir, any message that you would like to give to our viewers on how they can take care of the planet to do things which are leading to a cleaner, greener future?
I think important factor is for every one of us to see that we are living a planet which is better than what we have inherited. And for that, we need to see in how clean sources of energy which we can adopt for our own usage. We should be minimalistic also in our usage of these energy sources, whether it is a power or anything else. I think we should be very conscious of the fact that each of these energy sources are produced with a lot of efforts and takes some, if it's not green, then the fossil fuel also is polluting our planet out there. And we will have a devastating effect if this temperature rise keeps on happening, which we have witnessed in the last 150 years. So I think the only thing I would request for each one of us is to be minimalistic when we are using these sources of energy. We should only and try to use the renewable sources of energy, because by nature they are not harming the planet to the extent many others are. As on date, we need all sources of energy, but more and more we will try to adapt the renewable sources of energy, and more we adopt the technology by which we can reduce this usage of energy. We will all leave a better planet than what we have inherited.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khanna, for joining us. It was a pleasure getting to know about renewables and leading a better life for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambika. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.